everybody. Right, I had to do this. I haven't done it before. I don't know if this is going to work, if it's not going to work, but I'm going to have a go anyway. I've cut all the bits out. Let's see if it does. So, as I was working, we did the chai tea caddy, didn't we? And as I was working with it, I thought to myself, you know what? This looks a bit like a tombola. As I was, you know, turning the mechanism, I thought that looks like, you know, like tombola or bingo. And then I thought, you know what? And I hadn't used it, shamefully. Another one that I hadn't used. This is another reason I think why I'm doing this, is because I want to use all the dyes I haven't used. And, you know, it's terrible having them and not using them. But I thought, oh, they had a rotating, you know, rotating, what it's called, Keepsake rotating Memoirs. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to have a go and see if that is going to work inside here as a tombola. It may do, it may not. We shall see. We shall see. So, what I have done, I went ahead and watched Jodie's tutorial on putting this together, the Memoirs. We do have instructions in both of these kits, actually, if you do have both of them. And I think I can do it and compensate for the 3 with the 2 ends. Now, like I say, I haven't done this yet, so we're doing it totally, as you see me doing this, is the first time I'm attempting it. So it may go horribly wrong, but let's keep our fingers crossed. Right, so all you have to do with the chai tea caddy, okay, is just cut out your 3 pieces. This is just your box you want, and you want your 2 hexagons, and your 3 pieces, because that's all you're going to need for the box, right? I've just got to make sure that I am doing this correctly. That's right. Okay, so you need your 2. Now, you will need everything for the Keepsake rotating Memoirs. So everything they're asking you to cut down here: 4 side panels, 2 handles, 1 spindle, 6 washers, 8 washers, and 8. No, you don't need that. Okay, that's the only bit you don't need. You don't need the Memoirs. So everything else along part 1, but not this. Okay, so that's all your bits that you're going to need. Right. Okay, so in Jodie's tutorial, she says she uses 3 for the handle. So you've got your spindle, they're calling it here, right? Now, for the end bits of your spindle, she's using 3 pieces. Now, we're only going to need 2 of those, right? 2 of the large ones. I hope this is right, because if it goes wrong, it's going to go horribly wrong. But we're only going to need 2 of these, because the hexagon part is going to be one of our spindles. That's going to compensate for it. Now, the only way I could think to do this quick, easy, is to take your hexagon, those are going to be the end of the boxes, and centralise it. And you're really going to need to make sure this is centralised. You really, really are, because if it's not centralised, it's going to be, you're going to get a wonky box. So 9, 4 point, that's pretty much centralised. That is pretty much centralised. You want to go to about 4.5, right? That's where your middle part should, that's where your middle part of your hexagon should be. It is at 4.5 really. So we've not done too bad. Let's actually redo that. Let's redo it on here, just if you want measurements. So your hexagon that's going in the middle, you want that to be sitting in, where are we? So it's a 9 centimetre across. Okay, you want that to be sitting right in the middle of 4.5. So your half angles are going to finish. So 5.5 for that side, 3.5 for that side. That's where you want your 2 parts of your hexagon to sit. So we're now going to draw around our hexagon. You would need to do that on the other side and check. I'm I'm pretty confident that this is going to be okay. So we're just going to draw inside the hexagon, okay? Just like that, done, right? Now, I'm going to take the two pieces because it's really important that you get these hexagons in the same place on each side. Like I said, this is the only way I could think to do it that was really quick. I hope this idea is going to work, because if it does work, it's going to be a really lovely idea. If it doesn't work, then maybe I won't post this. Isn't it the beauty? You know, the beauty of the internet, the beauty of YouTube, is that you can do your tutorials, and if they don't work, you don't have to post them. But I'm that confident that I actually would have gone live doing this if I had the option one day. Right, okay. So I'm going to go in fact, it's probably better that you use, if you have got something more, in fact, this is the better one to use. Let's get this one out, because it is the better one to use. It's a bit big, but you do really need a steel ruler to cut on the line straight. So apologies, this is a bit of a long one, but it will work. It will work, right? So we want to come down here and score along that hexagon, okay? And remember, we're scoring through two pieces. In fact, this is an octagon, isn't it? This isn't a hexagon. I'm calling it a hexagon. This is an octagon, isn't it? So again, come down the side of your ruler, and then you know you're going to get a really straight line. Yeah, we've got 8 sides. Sorry, I'm calling it a hexagon. It's an octagon. Silly me. It's because I've been working with hexagons for ages. So this is the only tricky bit that you're going to have to do, because after that you're not, this is, you know, it's pretty straightforward. I hope. I haven't thought about how I'm going to do the opening yet, but I want to try and make this as straightforward as possible. But yes, you're only going to have to do this. This is the only bit that you need to do that's extra, you know, on top of the rest of it. But the other bit should be straightforward. Now, I'm going to try doing this. I'm trying to think whether I should put the spindle in first. We might have to put the spindle in before we put the handles on. Then we'll put the box on. I don't know if I'm going to do this right. You know, I'll find out one and then, you know, when you get an idea in your head and you think, oh, I really want to do that, I wonder if it's going to work. Oh, you've got to do this, because these would be brilliant, wouldn't they? I mean, Christmas times, you know, when you're sitting at the table, you know, and you have these, you know, you want to play a little game of bingo. These are going to be brilliant. Right, let's see the moment of truth. Oh, by the way, just disclaimer, if you are young and you are watching, please get in, and you want to do this, please get an adult to help you. Knives are sharp. You must be careful with them. So just a little disclaimer. Right, let's see if this has worked. Fingers crossed. I was going to carry on with my spell book, but I think in hindsight I'm not going to get that finished before Halloween. I'm just not. So I think, let's hope that has gone. Yes, it has gone down here, but we might need to give that a little bit more persuasion, that one, because it's not cut right the way through. So let's just, I can see my score lines, but I just have to go over them to just reinforce that bottom line, and hopefully that will just cut out nicely. Yes, I'm not going to have finished it, unfortunately. So I thought, you know what, maybe put that to one side. I thought, yeah, put it to one side, and then worry about it maybe. What have we not got? Come on, there we go. Put it to one side, and then maybe think about that for next Halloween. and I will start again, because I noticed that, you know, I'm always working on black card of late, because, you know, obviously most of my projects have been Halloween. I thought I really need to brighten my YouTube timeline up. I need to brighten it up because it's looking, you know, very macabre because of Halloween. Right, there we go. That's out now. So that is the only way I could think to do it. The only other way you could do it to make it a lot more perfect than this is actually get this piece out and cut it, completely cut it out the middle. But then you would have to, just looking at that, that doesn't look that great as a inside, but I'm sure it will be fine. Where are we? I'm sure it will be fine. But the only other way to do it is to cut out, let's just take these bits out, to cut this piece out. So take this piece, cut it out of the middle, centralise it, cut it out of the middle, right, this bit here, and then you would have to reinforce it back. So you would have to cut out a hexagon, or you would, no, sorry, it would be a circle. You would have to cut out an outer circle underneath to stick it back on. So you could do it that way, but I thought, you know what, for ease and time, let's try it this way. Now I'm just looking, and I'm hoping that that is going to be enough, and that is going to be very centralised. Ooh, fingers crossed. Looking a bit wonky. Right, okay, so we've got two here. Let's take that away. So we're going to move these over here for a second and pop this out of the way. So let's now concentrate on this spindle, and this is where we're going to see if it's going to work or it's not going to work. And I will hold off play. If I think it is, I will stop. But I'm pretty sure, or I am pretty sure that this will work. So we're levelling this up. I sound like, what's his name? Richie Suit. Richie Sunak. We're levelling up. He did the budget, didn't we? Didn't he, the other day? And all I could remember him saying is, we're levelling up. Well, Richie, we're definitely levelling up our lines today. Right, so, okay, this is where it's going to either work or go terribly, terribly wrong. Right, so Jodie uses 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one on here first, because I'm pretty sure this is what Jodie does. I'm sure this is what she does. She puts her first spindle on that way. So we're doing it exactly the same. And then I think these all come over, and then we put the other 2 on the back. I'm just trying to think. No, that's not how it will go. It's the other way. Cool, that was lucky, wasn't it? That was really lucky. Right, so we're having to put this piece on first. Now this is where we're going to see whether it's going to fit, or whether we're going to have to. No, I think we're going to get it on. It's a bit of a tight fit because it's not a perfect cut, right? So it may well be that I'm going to have to do it the other way, and that is cut it down and reinforce it. But let's just try with might and see if this does work. Right, let's just have a look. Actually, it does. It does. Okay. And now we've got to put, I'm just trying to think, because like I say, I've never done this. So you're going to hear me in a different light today, because then these will come on top of it and then they go over to the next part. So we might have to put, right, okay, yes, this is right. So let's take off all these little bits of tape. And hopefully they should have come off in concession, because I've kind of, that's lovely. See, now that's a much better way. I stuck them all on together. Right, and then just did a little bit of adjusting. Now let's again level these, because this is what Jodie is doing. So she's taking them up to the line and leveling them down. In fact, I do think that doing it this way is not a bad idea, because it's going to give you a really tight fit. Do you understand what I'm saying on the barrel? Because this is going to form part of your barrel, right? Okay, so just make sure that's lovely. So that's going to form part of your barrel. Now, Jodie says she puts 3 on. So we are going, before we put, yep, we're going to go ahead and pop our, I don't know what we're calling these. I suppose they're like, what did Jodie say? They're like the workings, so they're like, they look like nuts, you know, if you're putting together things, but I guess this really has to be stuck down quite well. I think that's probably very important, so that it works all the way around. Okay, so I'm popping that flush to there. I'm looking at that and thinking it's a few millimetres, it might work. Let's see. There might be a better way of doing this, but let's see if we can get it to work this way. And then if I can do it, then I'll come back and try a bit harder next time with the inner workings. So, right, we've got that on. So we've got our 3. So instead of putting 2 of the nuts, as it were, we're compensating, because this is going to be one of our nuts. That's the word. Right, so that's the bottom. Now, before we put the top on, we're going to have to now put our barrel in, okay? So I'm just thinking we're going to need to keep one open. We're going to need to keep one open. So in our instructions, in our chai tea caddy, right, that's it, that's how you would assemble it. But we don't want to put on one of these, because we need to leave one open to, do you see what I mean, open the lid to take out our, let's have a look, to take out our, you know, balls or whatever it is, tombola. So let's go ahead. I'm just trying to figure this one out. I'm just trying to, sorry, isn't it funny when you first do something and you think, is it going to work? Right, I'm sure it will. Let's put our first one on, and I'm going in this way because I can see better. Oh, it's a bit, it works a bit easier for me to do it this way. So I'm going in this way, right? I'm just checking at each turn. Let's have a look. So the next one is going to go in here. Okay, so we're missing one, and then we're putting the next one on, but we're only going to put 2 on at the moment and construct those together first. Okay, so nice and straight. This one's going to come in. Okay, let's just pop those in. Lucky I put tape on before. I never normally do that, do I? I never normally do. I hope you can't see my head. Sorry. I know this is a bit of a bizarre way to do this, but I'm doing it because it's the only way I can, you know, because we've got this barrel going through. I'm just looking at it thinking, is it good? Yes, it is going to work. I think this is. I think the barrel, if you didn't know, this set wasn't supposed to be together, and I think unknowingly they have actually done these sets to match each other perfectly. I think they don't, you know, they match up here to the ends. You couldn't imagine it any more perfect than what they have, but I'm sure they won't know that yet. So how that, you know, when you start working with, you know, your products, and you're working with one in conjunction with another, honestly, I tell you, you wouldn't even know. Look at how well matched up that is. You can't see it at the moment, but look, how well matched up that is. It's perfect to the barrel. That is funny, because I think the rotating Memoirs were bought out, oh, I don't know when they were bought out, I can't remember. Right, so we're only now going to leave this section open for the moment, okay? So we're only going to put on this part, and we're leaving, remember, one with the flap, okay? Because you need to adhere that to there. So we're just going to pop that on. And I'm turning it over again. Oh, I love it when an idea comes together like this, especially if it's going to work. That'd be even better. And then we're going to, move that down, squidging. Last one here. Let's just take this off. Just bring that back, and let's just leave that one as it is for the moment, okay? Because this is that's going to be where we're going to open it up. I haven't got a clue about what I'm doing at the moment with it, but I would say that these bits now are not going to be used, so you may not need these parts. In fact, you're not going to. Just still looking at this and checking at every turn. No, you're not going to. Right, this is the moment of truth, really. So, you know what? We're going to cut these off. We're going to... Where have I put my really posh scissors? Let's put that on the lid on. Where have my scissors gone? Oh, isn't that annoying? Whenever you... Oh, there we go. There they are. Here we go. So we're going to chop those off, right? Because we don't want those parts stuck on, right? So these bits are going to come off. So don't stick your tape on till afterwards. That's right. Now I'm just going to fold that in there, because I still want that to, because when we push this down now onto here, this is where it's going to either work or it's going to go horribly wrong. Okay, so let's see. Let's open this up, because then we can get to this barrel. Now let's see if this is really the moment of truth, because if it works here, then my gosh, this is a really good idea. If it doesn't, then boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Right, let's just pop that. Let's just see. I'm kind of squeezing this through like I did the other one. Let's just, sorry. I think because we haven't, do you understand what I'm saying? It's a little bit more difficult. If you do it the other way, right? If you do it the other way, where you actually, I might need to just cut a little bit out of there. If you do it the other way, where you take your, let's just cut that bit out, because I think that bit is just a little bit, I think I haven't cut it properly there. It's just giving me a little bit of a overhang, and it should work. But if you do it the other way, where you use the sort of nut part and then reinforce it back, you're not going to have this problem, right? But this will work, but believe me, I think this is going to work. I've just made it look extremely difficult because of the cutting out, rather than, come on, to cut out a little bit more. I know this looks like a struggle, and I don't want you to think that it's a struggle, because it really isn't. Ah, there we go. Right, there we go. We got it on. Okay, so we're going to take, before we stick these bottom bits on, we're going to take our tape off and level it up first, because honestly, I would guess whoever designed this, okay, I'm not sure who it is. Crafty, is it Crafty Simon? I don't know who it is at Tonic. Is it Crafty Simon, or I can't remember his name. Crafty Simon, Crafty Mark. But whoever designed the rotating Memoirs, it fits perfectly with the tea caddy. I mean, it really does. I know I've made this look difficult, but I promise you, if you were to cut that piece out, there we go, we're going to get that completely stuck down. If you were to cut that piece out, instead of doing it the way I did with the craft knife, sorry, my glue is just giving me a little bit of, right, so now we're going to take these off. It would have gone in perfectly. I mean, when I say perfectly, it would have gone in to perfection. Okay, now this is now the last bit of, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? I mean, it is that tight. Let's take these up. Let's take these up and out so we can get these off. I have to admit, this is a little bit fiddly, but I'm so sure that it's going to fit that perfectly. I can't wait to get this together. But the next bit is to see if I've actually levelled out all the card correctly. That will be the next thing. Right, so we're now going to go in. Yes, 'tis a bit fiddly. 'Tis a bit fiddly, and I'm not going to lie. But let's just get those in underneath. There we go. And now we're going to go in and we're going to stick the top. Where are we? Stick our tops. Oh, level it up. Come on. Where are we? Let's go in this way. Level it up with the sides. And you can get your hands in there. You can. Just making sure this is completely level. Oh, wow. Oh, this is amazing. This does work. It's an absolute perfect match. Look at that. Look at that. That is a perfect match. Can you believe that? There is, right, let's just have a look. There is a little bit. Right, I'll have to make a nice lock for that. Now, there is a little bit of give. A very, very, I mean, we're talking a minuscule amount. Can you see? But that, I don't think, well, it's not going to affect it at all. This is amazing. If you're Tonic and you're watching, I don't know who made them. I know I've just said this. I don't know who made them, but go and have a look. This is it's a perfect fit. I have got a little bit of let's just use a little bit of wet glue. That is amazing. Now once, actually I'm just thinking, once those are stuck down there, let's just put a bit of glue on there, because we're going to put our two now mechanisms on the top of it. Do you see? Oh, this is so good. Yeah, if you're watching, whoever made this, my lovely, you have made an exact, they'll know what I mean. Yeah, it's a little bit pull. There's a little bit of a pull down the back. But I really don't think that this is going to make that much difference. I really think we've got, I mean, you're talking a couple of millimetres. You can see a little bit of a pull there. But this is definitely going to work. Now, I'm guessing it's really important that you get this flat. Let's turn it up that way. That is really clever. Now, we're going to have the moment of truth soon, because we're going to see if it fits. How long have we been at this for? 28 minutes. I really must, you must make sure this is really stuck down. We have got a little bit, we're talking millimetres. But I think if you take your time with this, you can't change that, because that is the size of the, the spindle in the middle. If you really wanted to, you could. It's possible. You could cut the spindle down a bit. And I'm just thinking, but it's just going to complicate it. Let's see if this works. I'm so excited. I don't think whoever, like I say, let's turn it that way, and it should, if I just push down, it should, because it's on a hard surface, lie flat, and let's get that dry. Right, let's just move on to these parts, okay, because we've now got, right, those are your 3 for each side. we've now got the handles, which are going to go through this. I can't believe how, I'm sorry, I know normally I'm not lost for words like this, but I can't believe how pretty much perfectly that has fit onto that. I mean, that is really quite amazing. Your design team will understand, because you're going to be like, oh wow, it does. It fits so well. Right, let's get these handles on. I really want to get this done now, because I'm really excited to see if this is going to rotate, and if my measuring and compensating has worked. I hope so. Let's just move all these. I think I haven't bent these either. Let's bend them all back down. This is actually a really lovely set. I've never made one of these before, the rotating memoirs, but I was looking at the way, you know, Jodie did one, or I watched Jodie's tutorial. I have to link it. I will link that in here for the rotating ones. But yes, it's a really nice set, isn't it? And it's quite clicky. I didn't realise, but when Jodie sort of did the actual turning of it, they're quite clicky, aren't they, these sets? This is actually quite a good idea as well. I mean, I don't know whether you would want, you know, it's nice for Christmas, because, you know, if you're sitting around, if you're, you know, sitting with your family, sometimes, you know, you play Christmas games or whatever, it saves you going out and buying games, and you can have hours of fun. So it's like of fun. It can either be a tombola, or you know, you could put balls in it and have bingo, play bingo with it, and take the balls out. That'd be fun. Right, let's just take that one off. We're nearly there on this one. It's not as fiddly. It's all this sticky. I'm using red tape. I love red tape, you know, I absolutely love it, but I have a love-hate relationship with red tape, because that, all the bits, oh, they drive you mad. Right, so, again, we're using a big piece and coming over it, like so. I think that's how Jodie did it. And then we're just taking all the tape off. Let's get all this tape off. Come on, all the tape, like that. We're nearly there, darlings. I really am excited to see if this works. I'm like Speedy Gonzales. Let's get this done quickly so that I can see if it sits down and works. I'll be so happy if it does, because this is not, I know I'm making this look, what's the word? I know I'm making this look a bit complicated, but really, honestly, it's not. I might even, if this works, I will put this tutorial out anyway, but if this does work, like I think it will do, I'm going to come back and do that easier spindle for you, the easier part. We've got a little, you can see, it's a little, just a little bit. As long as that's stuck down there, I should think we'd be all right. Let's turn that back over. Right, so now we can stick, I think this is right, now we stick, don't we, this bit onto here, and then we have our 3 pieces. Is that right? And then we have our 3 pieces that go along the sides. I should have done one of these already. Let's continue anyway. So I can tell you now, the weather is looking very ominous today in Kent, and I'm a bit fearful for the kids at Halloween, because I don't think the weather's going to be good. I mean, the winds here are something else. I don't know whereabouts you are in the country if you're watching, but the winds are just horrendous. They're so bad. So I think I was going to put lots of decorations out. I mean, I put a few little ones out for Halloween, you know, for trick-or-treaters, but I'll be honest, I think it might not be so great for Halloween. Right, I'm just coming in and just popping all these. We're levelling up. Richie Sunak, we're levelling up. So I'm coming in and just doing that, and we're nearly there. I'm just dying to see now if this tombola is going to work, because it's a nice little fun idea, isn't it, for Christmas, you know. Could have been good for even for Halloween, couldn't it? You know, if you were having parties, you could have made a Halloween one, couldn't you? Right, I'm pretty sure that's okay. So pop this over the top. That's it. We're nearly there, aren't we? Oh, I can't wait to see if it's going to work. This is so exciting. Yeah, so yeah, this would have been a fun idea. Mind you, I suppose I could still use it. I could still get my raffle tickets out. I mean, I know it would be a very small one, but you know what? You can actually get, I don't know, you'd probably be able to buy them if you've got old bingo, you know. You can get the balls, can't you? You can get the little balls that go around in there. I'm sure I've got one somewhere. I'm sure I have. Right, we're nearly there. So I think this is how it goes out of memory, because I haven't made one of these. I just watched Jodie a couple of times just to sort of refresh my, you know, well, not refresh myself, just to see how it worked. So I think this is how she did it. I guess so. So we'll stick that on. Oh, you really have to go on with a lot of glue on this, don't you? To make sure that is really stuck down. I suppose as well, this is going to all depend. This is quite a heavy cardstock I am using today. Everybody who knows me knows generally I don't work with heavy cardstock. I use, you know, light cardstock on projects, especially when I'm doing them for the first time, or, you know, I'm just trying things out. I do tend to do that, because I think, oh, if I don't get it right, it's such a waste. But I was so sure that this is going to work that I thought, you know what, let's go for the craft card. And I'm sure this has got to be 300. I'm pretty sure. So it's quite a thick card. So I'm just making sure that this is really stuck down. And we're nearly there, my lovely. It's not far off. And then it will be the moment of truth to see if it has worked. Right, so I think what Jodie did, if I recall, was she stuck 3 to each other. I think that's what she did. So 1, 2, 3, and then that is the middle part. So that's where it's going to sit. This is where the magic, you know, that's where the magic is. That's where it sits, isn't it? So that it can rotate in the box quite neatly. I should have made the box up, really, shouldn't I? So that would go there, if I'm correct. So we're nearly there. This is so exciting to see the moment of truth. I'm going to get back to doing the light up wall feature, because that's where I stopped at before I started doing all the Halloween projects. And I really want to get back to that light up wall feature, because I wanted to sort of work with you know, the little crystals. And I think now's the, you know, it's Christmas coming up now soon. That's our next one, isn't it? And I think it's nice now to work with crystals over Christmas. I don't know, some people don't like them. Right, okay, so now we pop this onto, let's have a look. Oh, I don't know if that's somebody at my door. Sounds like it is. Right, bear with me, people. Bear with me. I'm just going to pop that on there. It'll be 2 seconds. Sorry, my lovely. Apologies, my lovelies. It was the post. Waiting for part of a costume for my son for Halloween. Although I think I'm not going to, he's not that, my son has autism, you see, so he's not that excited about coming out doing Halloween trick-or-treating, and I think I possibly won't be this year. But I thought, well, we can still give out, you know, we have a real good community of people here, and it's lovely. Right, the moment, we're nearly there. Apologies for having to stop it. A bit of a nightmare. Right, okay, so we're just centralising that on this side, just making sure. Ooh. And then the other one, and then I've just got to do the bottom, but I think the bottom, isn't it quite straightforward? The rotating memoirs. There we go. Right, so we can set that aside to dry. Ah, yes, I see how that works. So I'm just setting that aside to dry. So that's what you're going to, oh, where are we? That's what you're going to get, you see. So that's your Tombola. Now we're just bringing the bottom, and then we're nearly done. Everybody's dying to see, aren't we all, if it works. Right, let's just get this done really quickly. I think we're sticking one, aren't we, on top of the other, and then it's just a question of building it. Now I think this one, you have to cut 4 times, and if I'm right, I think it's the side panels that you reinforce on this one. So this is going to be a really sturdy box, because I have used a 300 cardstock, a 300 GSM cardstock on this one. So yes, it is going to be, let's just bring that up. I like to bring these up because it's a nice guideline, making sure you're sticking that completely flat and flush into the bottom one. There we go. There we go. Just bringing that up. So then we're going to bend this in, aren't we? So this is going to match up to this one. Let's just bend these in, because I haven't folded these side bits in. So we're bringing this up to here. So let's take that one off. So that, and this one, let's give that one a bit of, so we're bringing this up to level it on this side, straight down, and then straight down on the side like so. Okay, and then again on this side, I haven't used the side bits yet, so we're just taking this piece off and this piece off, and then bringing it up. Now sure, let's just bring that up. So this one's going to fit on the front, this one is coming down the side, isn't it? This is quite an easy part, isn't it? This is very easy to put together, this bottom bit. There's no thought in that whatsoever, is there? So I've then got these bits. I think this bit is folded, isn't it? Maybe I haven't folded this bit. Let's just bend that bit down. Don't fold that bit, so that'd be a good idea to actually fold that part right at the beginning. Okay. And this one, I haven't done it on this side, so make sure you fold those bits before you stick them together. I'm so excited. I just want to get this done because I'm dying to see if it's going to fit. Right, so we're nearly done, So we've just got to reinforce, I'm trying to put this on, reinforce these panels, as Jodie said, because I think it's not going to work if you don't reinforce these panels. So let's do that first, okay? Let's get these side panels on, and I'm guessing as well you're going to have to make sure they're really glued at the top here, because that's important. At the top, well, I suppose it's important to make sure this whole side panel is glued on, because it is, isn't it? It's your reinforcement. So we're just going in and just popping that again at the sides, just making sure that is really neat and level, because that really is going to make a difference, isn't it? If you don't make sure that that part is level, And one more piece, other side, and then we're nearly there. I can't believe how clever this is. I mean, when I say it is a few millimeters, so when you go to glue, I'll tell you in a minute, when you go to glue down on the actual drum, okay, on this part, when you go to glue one of the sides, there is a couple of millimeters in it, and you're thinking, oh, this isn't going to work. It will. Honestly, it really will. You'll be absolutely fine doing it. Now, let's pop this on this side. And again, really important to make sure that, because otherwise, I guess if you don't have that really straight, it's going to affect the rotation. So I'm just going to give that a few seconds to dry in, okay? Oh, I've just moved that. See, you've got to really make sure. That's because I've moved it that side. There we go, that's better. Oh, this is so exciting. I need to really go and get some things to put in there. I will. I'll see if I can try and photograph it working, and we will have to put a little tiny lid on it. Oops, I won't put that up there. Right, let's see if it works. I hope this is going to be dry enough. I hope. I'm actually a little bit nervous about putting it on right away, but I'm sure it will be fine. So let's just, where are we? Come on, in there. Does it slide on? Oh, I really don't like doing this when it's like this. To me, it seems like it's a bit too wet. You really need to wait for this to dry, don't you? This is not a good idea, okay? This is really not a good idea. It's too wet. Right, I'm being overcautious. It's definitely going to fit on, but I'm too wet now. I have to wait for that to dry. So in hindsight, actually, I should have done that right at the beginning. So you know what? When you make these, because I now can't put this on until it is dry, and I've now got glue actually inside here, which is not a good thing. So let's move that out the way. So yes, in hindsight, actually, when you make your box, I'm going to just discuss it with you now while this is drying. When you make your box, make the side bits first. So this bottom bit, not the side bits. Make the bottom bit first and give that time to really dry out, because it needs to dry out, it needs to go hard, and it needs to have no glue on it whatsoever. And the same with this. But do you understand? It's definitely going to work because it's the same length. So where are we? Where's our opening now? Here we go. I'm going to have to find an opening, but do you see? You've now got, can you see the inner workings? So it's exactly the same. Do you see? It's exactly the same. So it will definitely fit on here. It's definitely going to work. There's no question in my mind that is really going to work fine. I'm thinking maybe on the end, just thinking in hindsight, maybe on the end, it's going to sound strange, but because you've got a little bit more of a lift on this side, when you're sticking the nut part, before you're putting the middle bit in, on this side, maybe you might need 3. So where we use, you might need another one. You see, I haven't got them now to show you, but you know we used 2 on each side and then compensated this part. This part was one of them, wasn't it? So we used 2 and this was the third. I think for one side you might need to use 4. Okay, and that will even out that little tiny millimetre. But it really, I mean, this is going to work. It's really not going to make that difference. But can you see what I mean? You can put your little raffle tickets in there now. We'll get your little balls, and then we'll have to find a way of locking this. We'll get a little lock on there, so that, or a little handle, so that you can pull it up. I'll do something I'll think of something to do in a minute for it. But yes, you're definitely going to need a little handle to put on there. But that is such a fantastic idea. And you didn't have to do any measuring yourself, did you? You didn't have to do, and I know you're dying to see this, so am I, but I'm so sorry. I should have done this prior, and it's too wet. It's not going to work until it's dry. So I think actually what I'll do is I'll quickly stop this because we're at 50. I'm just going to wait for this to dry because I really want you to see this mechanism, but that is perfect. And it does. It's like this barrel was made for it, honestly. Design team are going to be like, wow, it's perfect. What a perfect combination. Right, let me just wait for this to dry and let me just come back. I just want to show you that it does work. I will be back in a couple of minutes when this is dry. Right, my lovelies, I'm back. It is dry and yes, it does work. Look at that. Now you do get, I mean, you know what I'm like. If you know what I'm like, you know that I'm so finicky. There is like, I'm talking millimeters because there's that millimeter, but it's perfect and it will work. I mean, I have noticed with these, I think probably it just takes some time for it to sort of ease up a little bit once you start using it. But you know, we've got our we're going to make a nice handle for it. But there you go. You know, you can spin your tombola. You can pick out your balls for bingo. How cute is that? So bingo, little mini raffles at Christmas. I don't know. Affirmations. I mean, wouldn't that be really lovely? I don't know if you can, you see, I haven't obviously decorated it, but I mean, you can go to town. You've got all the lovely decorations in both of them, haven't you? You've got all these beautiful decorations in here, so you could go to town with decorating the actual box. I mean, what I'll do, I'm not going to put this out yet. I'm going to go away and make a few because I love this. I think this is really lovely. I'll make a few and decorate them up. Now, the only thing I would say is I'm having to hold this at the bottom as I'm turning it round, but you could weigh this down underneath. You've got plenty of room underneath here, you see, as well to use for something else, because you haven't got, see where the memoirs are, because you're using the you know, the it's kind of like pages, aren't they, flip pages. You don't have that, so you can see through, but you could utilize this as well. So you've got like a spare compartment to use underneath your little tombola. But you could, what I'm saying is weigh that down a bit. So you can put a little bit of weight in there, and then you wouldn't have to hold that while you're turning it. But I guess that's the same with, you know, with using this as it is. Maybe you get, you know, once you get a bit of weight in there. But there we go. How fantastic is that? And yes, you've got the panels. I mean, I'm just looking at some of the panels on here because I haven't used them, but some of them are quite similar. You've got, you know, I'm just thinking of decoration and how what you've got in these things. But if you look, some of them are quite, you've got this panel here for the lids, which is sort of like a little triangle. You've got little squares that they're quite, they wouldn't go amiss. Do you understand what I'm saying? These panels here wouldn't go amiss with those. So I'm going to give those a go. I'm going to cut the panels out from both, put them together and see how it goes. But as two sets, I have used sets in combination with each other all the time, because that is something I like to do. That's my favourite thing, is taking sets and seeing if they work. But I have to honestly say, I have never had two sets that have actually gone together so perfectly. I mean, the Halloween ones, the lanterns, yes. We had the dies, didn't we? We had the dies in the Halloween dies that we put into the lanterns, and they did fit perfectly. And there are panels that fit onto boxes, but as what I'm saying, as two separate items, for them to coincide with each other like this is not, I've not ever done that, ever, with any of the dies. Do you understand what I mean? With, you know, with the memory book dies, they will cross-pollinate with each other. They're memory book dies, you know, but two completely different sets, a tea caddy and a rotating memoir, to be able to fit them together so perfectly, that is, I think that's quite unusual. So anyways, I'm really excited about it. I think it's a brilliant, fun idea, you know, for the Christmas tables, you know, anything, you know, it's just a really fun, cute idea for maybe Christmas, you know, and just to have some fun games. Little tombola there. I'm going to decorate that. I'm going to do a few, decorate them, and come back and put this tutorial out, because honestly, how quickly, it wasn't that difficult. It really wasn't. I know I made it look difficult with the bits on the end here, but it's not, honestly, it really isn't. This fits. It is a perfect match. They marry up perfectly, and I'm going to decorate those and think of some ideas to use this lovely tray at the bottom to kind of weigh this down a little bit more. Right, I am going to go. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back. Hopefully next time I come back is going to be with the wall feature and going back to the boxes and using the diamantes within them and the lights. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in my next tutorial. Take care. Bye.